she's really got you on a diet then, Al.
It's no laughing matter. How can a man do a day's work on a crisp plate?
Fancy your chocky bicky, Al?
Oh,
I'm sorry. It's my last one. Ashfordly, police. Yes, madam. I'll send somebody over straight away. No, OK. Blaketon. Mrs. Poole. Agentsville.
I'll go. I can't sit round here all day watching you two stuff yourselves.
Well, this is certainly a very sad occasion. I'd like to begin by expressing my condolences.
Paolo, I teach you no manners. Get Mrs. Bradley a cup of coffee.
I'm fine, really.
It's okay, ma'am.
It's not okay. How many times I tell him, what's it all for? We go home now. A little villa in Umbria. But no, he won't stop. Work, work, work. Such a stubborn man.
I really am sorry for your loss, Mrs. Mazzetti. Perhaps it would be best if I begin by explaining my role. As your husband Franco's solicitor, I drew up his will. What I propose to do is to read it in its entirety, and then I'll go back and explain the individual provisions and answer any questions you may have.
The thing is, we always felt so very safe in Aidensfield.
Well, unfortunately, villains travel far and wide nowadays, Mrs. Poole. Was much taken?
A silver tea service. Not worth a fortune, but it was a wedding present. Some other ornaments from the mantelpiece. I'll show you.
Oh, well, not too much of a mess, fortunately. And I left your sideboard alone.
I suppose I should be grateful.
Oh, I didn't mean that. I mean, any break-in's bad enough.
But we've got off lightly.
Your husband's at work, presumably. Have you let him know?
Actually, I'm a widow. My husband died last year.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to...
No, I misled you. I said we. Unfortunately, it's a habit I haven't quite broken myself of yet.
Well, these things take time.
They certainly do.
Well, I need to take a statement. Description of the items taken, that sort of thing.
Whilst you're doing that, perhaps I can offer you a cup of tea.
Oh, I don't want to put you to any bother.
It's no bother. In fact, I know this may sound silly, but while I was waiting for you to arrive, I didn't know what to do with myself, so to calm my nerves, I made a batch of scones. They should be ready about now. You sure I can't tempt you?
Oh, well, that's very good of you indeed. Thank you.
You taste this, Mr. Bradley. It's the best fish and chips in Yorkshire. My Franco, he was the expert. Only the freshest cod. We buy from the same fisherman since we come here 20 years ago.
Well, you certainly don't skimp on the portions, Mrs. Mazzetti.
New husband, working wife. You feed him well, he don't stray. This son of mine, now he thinks he's the boss.
Ma'am, never.
You tell him your big ideas. See if they laugh.
All businesses have to move on and diversify. Papa taught me that.
You know what he wants to sell? Not fish and chips, what everyone in England like to eat. He wants to sell pizza. Pizza is what Italian peasants eat.
Well, I had it once when I was on holiday in Italy and I liked it.
No one will buy it. Beer, tea, fish and chips, bread and butter, this they buy.
She seems better.
Well, she's still furious at him for dropping dead.
Are you thinking of selling the business?
Oh, no, she'd kill me. No, I'm going to concentrate on building up the restaurant side. Well, whatever she thinks, one of these days there's going to be a pizza parlour in every town in England. And it's going to have Mazzetti's above the door. Anyway, thanks for all your help, Mrs. Bradley, and enjoy your meals.
Thanks. But if I eat all of this, I'm going to have to diet like Alf.
Well, don't worry. I'll keep you in shape.
Young come the old flannel. Who do you think you are, me?
I'd love to run a chip by Mr. Greengrass. Oh, you get to eat all leftovers, wouldn't you?
See, Claude, you already got willing staff.
He might be willing, but I think it could be for the wrong reason.
This van is in tip-top condition, ready to roll. And I'm willing to let you have it at a very reasonable price, plus I'll chuck in full service.
You'd never get it up the chapel steps. Do you think I've got a death wish?
How do you mean?
Well, look at it. It's one of Mazzetti's old vans, isn't it?
Yes,
Well, you know what Franco Mazzetti's like. This is his patch. You know what he does to anybody who starts up in competition?
Yes, but Claude...
You're not listening to me, are you? The man is a gangster, and an Italian one at that.
Claude, he's dead.
Dead? When? Who killed him?
Had a heart attack a week or so back. Bought this van off his son. Apparently the sons are more interested in the restaurant side of the business, so they're running down their fleet of mobile chip vans.
Are you sure about that?
Of course I'm sure. Marco, youngest lad, told me himself.
Well, if that's really the situation, then might be a few bob in there.
See, thought you'd be interested. That's why I thought I'd let you have first refusal. Because I have had other offers.
You're not getting that. I'll give you 150 quid for it.
200.
175, or I'll go and get one off this Marco Mazzetti myself.
All right.
Hey, David, looks as if you could be frying tonight.
Oh, morning. That meal last night, well, I don't think I'll need to eat for a week. Oh, what's the matter?
My old man's not cold in his grave. But already it's started. The petty spite, the vengeance.
So you have 3 mobile fish and chip vans, Mr. Mazzetti?
2 now. This one's a complete write-off. Windows smashed, inside gutted, all the tyres slashed. My brother parked it in Ashfordly last night while he went to see his girlfriend.
And you have no idea who could have done this?
Oh, I know exactly who did it. Big Eddie. Runs a crummy little chip shop in Ashfordly. And this is a deliberately provocative act to disrespect my father's memory. And if you don't do anything about it, Sergeant, well, I certainly will.
What can I do for you?
We'd like to ask you a few questions, please, Mr...
Everyone calls me Big Eddie. If you need to know how to spell it, read sign over the door.
I think I can manage, thank you. Did you know Mr. Franco Mazzetti?
I heard he'd snuffed it.
Yes, but before his demise, were you acquainted?
Look, it's no secret we hated each other, but I didn't kill him.
No one's suggesting you did. He died of natural causes. What interests me, though, is that one of his fish and chip vans was vandalised last night at Ashfordly. Would you know anything about that?
No, but it serves him right.
Why's that, then?
That high-tie were a law unto himself. And your lot never stopped him. He had his own place in Whitby, but that weren't enough. So he sent his vans to cover half the county and steal the trade of honest chip shop owners like myself.
Fair competition doesn't necessarily mean theft. Perhaps people just preferred his chips.
You ask his sons what their old man got up to. Fair competition? Anyone tried competing with him, they'd most likely find themselves in a dark alley with a fractured skull.
I thought you said you were in tip-top condition and ready to roll.
Well, you were in the catering corps. You get it to work.
They didn't give us a fat fryer in the catering corps. The spuds there were either boiled, baked, or beyond redemption.
I'll mix it with water like it said on the packet.
It's like concrete. How are you going to get a fish fillet in there?
I thought I'd just shove it in.
You'd never get it out again. It needs more water.
Oh, there's no room for any more.
Well, empty some out, then. What do you think you're doing? Get it cleaned up. And if you do out like that again, it won't only be the fish that gets battered.
Well, they certainly made a mess of it. Crowbar or something similar, I should think.
That Big Eddie, he wants putting away.
Why are you so convinced it was Big Eddie, Mrs. Mazzetti?
He hated Franco. Who else it gonna be?
Why did he hate your husband?
You go take a look at Big Eddie's shop, Mr. Bradley. He should keep pigs in there.
Yeah, well, fortunately, that's the health inspector's concern, not mine.
And he refries his chips. Franco and me, 20 years in this business, we never refry a single chip.
And that's why he hated you?
My father came to this country penniless. He built a business out of nothing. He had high standards. He was successful.
Yeah, well, some people seem to think he was a bit ruthless.
Because he didn't let the likes of Big Eddie take advantage of him. He was tough when he needed to be.
Well, whoever's responsible for this, it's going to be a bit difficult proving it.
Why?
It was done at night, no witnesses. And your allegations against Big Eddie are, to say the least, somewhat circumstantial.
So you'll do nothing?
See? I told you. Se ne fregano.
We'll do what we can, Mrs. Mazzetti. All I'm asking for is a little patience, that's all.
The thing is, David, you want them nice and chunky, but thin enough to cook through.
Right.
OK?
I hope you got a certificate from the council for this, Greengrass.
I didn't know you had to have permission to peel spuds.
For running a mobile fish and chip van, you know what I mean.
I've applied for it. It's in the post.
Well, you can move it off my car park. Now.
Hi, darling.
Sweetheart. Good day.
Yeah. What's for supper?
Chicken and rice, your favourite.
What, no chips?
I don't think I could look another one in the eye. Here, come on, sit down.
I had Paolo Mazzetti in my office this afternoon.
Oh, yeah?
He wants to bring a private prosecution for vandalism against some chip shop owner in Ashfordly.
Oh, well, that didn't take him very long, did it?
Well, he doesn't reckon the police are taking the matter seriously enough. He wants to apply some pressure.
Like father, like son.
He's going through all the legal channels, Mike. And I told him any prosecution, private or otherwise, would require evidence to substantiate his claim.
Yeah, well, I've already given him that advice for free.
OK, don't get upset.
Look, it's just, I don't like the feeling I'm being lent on, that's all.
Look, no one's leaning on you, Mike. I know Franco was supposed to be a bit of a bully boy in his day, but Paolo's got more sense.
Yeah, well, I hope so.
Too much water at this time, Mr. Green. Hey, we're not like the rest, you know. We only use fresh whipping cod. Jumped out of the sea and threw itself in the batter this morning. What would you like? Hey, David, give us a pull-up.
Well, I could hand you over to him if you'd like. Alf, she's had another break-in. It's Mrs. Poole.
Oh, hey, Mrs. Poole, PC Ventress.
Besides Big Eddie, there seems to have been some kind of feud between him and Franco Mazzetti for some years.
Oh, no. Sounds like we'd be lucky to make out a case against Big Eddie. But I don't want Franco's sons taking the law into their own hands.
Right, Sarge.
I'll be around there straight away. House breaking at Ainsfield, Sarge. Same place has been done again. I was there yesterday.
Well, you better find out what's going on then, Ventress.
Right, Sarge.
He's very keen all of a sudden.
She makes scones, Sarge.
I see.
What's up, Dad? Hey, that'd fall off the bone if there were any. Right, now then, ladies. Chips, we've got plenty of mine. Fish and chips twice, David. Yeah, love. That's the idea. That'll be one. Yeah, look. Another Jane. Now, so what can we do here for? Right. What do you think you're doing?
I suppose you're working for the Mazzettis.
You must be joking. I'm self-employed, me. Always have been and always will be.
Well, you're unemployed now, because your van's not in a roadworthy condition.
What are you talking about?
One of your headlamps just been smashed.
Oh, yeah? And what are you trying to tell me? You've just done it?
You'll never prove it, pal.
Do they know you two are out on your own? Who are you, anyway?
I'm Big Eddie, and that's my chippy over there, and this is my trade you're nicking.
It's market day. There's plenty for everybody.
That's not the way I see it, pal. I see a thief, I treat him accordingly.
Are you threatening me?
No, I'm just giving you some friendly advice, Grandad. Now up it, because if I see you in Ashfordly again, it'll not just be your headlamp what gets smashed.
PC Ventress, I'm so glad you're here. I only popped out to the post office.
Now, let's get you sat down and then you can tell us all about it.
All my jewellery, even my mother's engagement ring.
There. Let it all out.
I thought you were doing Ashfordly Market today.
Yeah, so did we. Yeah, give us a large Scotch and a shandy for him.
What happened? That fat fry didn't get all temperamental again, did it?
No, but somebody else did.
Well, what are you doing in here, Greengrass? It's dinner time.
No, you start.
Have you got permission from the council yet?
No, what happened is that Ashfordly Station hasn't changed since you were there. You still can't find a copper when you want one.
The thing is not knowing what to do. I have insurance, of course, but Eric always dealt with these matters. He was a bank manager, you know. A very meticulous man.
Well, you must miss him a lot.
Oh, I do. When he retired, he wanted us to move to the country. He thought this was such a lovely spot. We'd only been here 3 months and then he died.
So you don't know many folk in the area, then?
Hardly anyone at all, beyond a nodding acquaintance. When you're not part of a couple anymore, people don't really know quite how to take you.
Well, I tell you what. Why don't I make you a nice cup of tea?
No, no. I'm being a terrible hostess. I'll do it. I've got a fruitcake too, if you'd care for a slice.
Well, I shouldn't really. I'm getting a bit of a spare tyre.
Nonsense. You're a fine figure of a man, PC Ventress. What harm's a little bit of fruitcake going to do?
Well, none at all, I suppose.
Happened about half hour ago. Someone chucked it from a passing car. I didn't see it because it was dark and I was frying. Just heard this great big thump and the window went in.
Any idea who's responsible?
Well, it's the Mazzettis, isn't it?
And why would they want to smash one of your windows? Couldn't possibly have anything to do with you vandalising one of their vans, could it?
I told you before I know naught about the van. But I did have to have a few words with one of the new blokes this morning.
New bloke?
He were there this morning on market, bold as brass in one of Mazzetti's vans, stealing my trade. Soon told him to hop it.
And he ceded to your reasoned request straight away, did he? No threats were exchanged?
He was just an old bloke. Green, something or other. I wouldn't have done him any harm.
Oh, glad to hear it.
What can I get in? Coke and chips twice.
Evening, Oscar.
Oh, hello, Alf.
Just a half, please, and one for yourself.
All right, thanks.
I'm beginning to think, you know, it's not really worth all the bother.
Keep out of Ashfordly, stick to the villages, and you'll still make a mint.
Marvellous, isn't it, eh? You can be intimidated and assaulted, and there's never a copper in sight. It's always in the pub.
What's up with him?
Who knows?
Well, as a matter of fact, Oscar, I wanted to pick your brains.
Oh, aye?
The lady who lives down the village past the church at Orchard Cottage, Mrs. Poole, do you know her?
The lovely Mrs. Poole has caught your eye, has she?
Oh, nothing like that. She's been broken into twice.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Well, the thing that really makes my blood boil is that a couple of local yobs are obviously targeting her. They know she's a widow living on her own. They're watching the house, waiting for her to go out, and then they're in there again.
Well, it's possible, I suppose.
Well, I wondered if you'd noticed a couple of likely types hanging around the village.
Well, I can't recall any, but I keep my eyes open. Hey, how come you're dealing with this, not Mike Bradley? It's his patch.
Well, I took the original call, and I'm following it up.
The lovely Mrs. Poole. She must have been a right cracker when she was young.
God, I know nothing about that. Oh, she's a good cook, though. Oh, she does a lovely fruit cake.
How is Mrs. Ventress? Is she keeping well?
Quite well, thanks.
Oh, it's come at last. The cavalry's arrived.
Looks like you've had a few, Claude. Been here long?
Since opening time.
So, you weren't in Ashfordly at about 6:30 then?
What do I need an alibi for this time, then?
You've been running a mobile chip van for the Mazzettis now?
No, I have not. If everybody leaves me alone, I'm trying to run one for myself.
Reckons Big Eddie, who has the chip shop in Ashfordly, smashed his headlamp this morning.
Oh, does he? Can you prove it?
Any reasonable person who saw a big man with a crowbar next to a smashed headlamp wouldn't need proof. And again, how many coppers are reasonable?
Right, well, take my advice, Claude. Steer clear of Big Eddie. Alf?
Big Eddie. You know what's been going on, don't you? A bit of dropsy.
What are you on about?
Backhanded. Coppers are all the same.
On days like these, when skies are blue and feet.
Morning. Getting ready for the off?
No, getting them ready for auction. My brother's decided to sell them.
Big Eddie had one of his windows smashed last night.
Couldn't happen to a nicer bloke.
Where were you at 6:30?
I remember really having me tea.
Look, there's no point taking the law into your own hands just because you think it worked for your dad.
Are you saying my father was a criminal? Because if you are, I'd like to see some proof.
He smashes one of your vans, you break his window, what next then, eh? Where's it all going to end?
You'll have to ask Big Eddie that, won't you? Anyway, we're out of the mobile fish and chip business. My brother's a man with ambition. I don't think Big Eddie's got much of an interest in pizza restaurants, has he?
I haven't seen it, and if I have, I didn't know it was stolen.
Well, come on, Sam. Just come and have a look at the list.
Hey.
Lads, most likely. A couple of teenagers, maybe.
Those some quite nice items of jewellery. Solid silver tea service. Well, I've not had one of those in here for ages. All from the same place, is it?
A widow. I'd really like to get the things back for her if I can.
Sorry, Alf. There's nothing here I've seen.
You sure?
Afraid so.
I love you. You can have them on the house.
Oh, sure you feeling all right, Claude?
Your fee for teaching David how to chip chop.
I reckon you owe more than a bag of chips, Greengrass.
Hey, they're not bad. He seems to have got the hang of it.
Well, I hope he washes his hands before he fries them.
Did you actually want something, did you, Oscar?
Yeah, I want to know why you're parked opposite my pub.
Do you? Well, I'll tell you, because you won't let me park outside.
Come on, Oscar, why shouldn't he sell us fish and chips? Have one.
I wouldn't dream of it.
Taste one, they're nice.
Yeah, they taste a lot better if he was authorised to sell them.
You know a lot about chips, don't you? He's had one on his shoulder long enough.
I've been round all the local pawnbrokers, but nobody's seen out.
You think she's being targeted?
Well, she's a widow on her own, Sarge. Some young so-and-so's obviously decided that she's a soft touch.
I think perhaps, Bradley, you could keep an eye on our Mrs. Poole. Pop in now and again. Regular sight of a uniform should scare them away.
I could do that, Sarge. Well, Mike, he's got enough on his plate. She's a very nervous lady, and she knows me now.
Well, as long as you don't spend all your time running over to Edensfield.
Oh, no, of course not, Sarge.
What's Mrs. Ventress going to say? That's what I want to know.
What do you mean by that?
Well, she'll be wondering why that diet's not working.
You lot, you've got one-track minds.
Right, gentlemen, the next one, lot number 16, the Singer Node. What a beauty, lovely estate gar, silver grey, walnut trim, beautiful interior. How much is that worth? Costing you about £1,000, please, gentlemen. Goody, goody, start, mate. 20 the bait, and £50,
Well, they're not in bad condition.
No, well, I'm still not sure about this, you know. I mean, one van's aggravation enough, but there's wages and all sorts we'll have to pay.
How much did you make in Aidensfield this morning?
Well, we did all right.
3 vans, 3 times the profit.
Here comes trouble. Have they locked you up yet?
No, the Mazzetti's just selling up. I'm going into mobile trade myself as soon as I buy these 2 vans. Little Eddie's going to run them.
This is an auction. They'll go to the highest bidder.
I don't reckon anyone's going to bid against me. Do you?
I shall have to wait and see, shall we?
Let me give you some advice, pal. Leave the fish and chip business to them as knows what they're doing. I knew a fella once, new to the trade like yourself, had a terrible accident with his fish fryer. Scarred for life he were.
Really? Well, I knew a fellow once. He had a terrible accident with his gob. He kept threatening people with it and he finished up inside. So think on, pal. Come on, Bertie.
Sergeant Craddock thinks it'd be a very good idea if I was to pop in on a regular basis, and then any villains that are watching the place will soon be put off.
Oh, I'm sure they will. And please tell your sergeant that is so reassuring. Now, you will have a slice of Victoria sponge.
Well, that's very kind.
Eric, my late husband, being a bank manager, always had the greatest respect for the police.
And I've seen some bank robberies in my time. They can be very nasty.
You must be so brave, PC Ventress, tackling ruthless villains.
Well, not every day of the week, just occasionally. We have a lot of paperwork, too.
Your wife must be so proud.
Well, to tell you the truth, I've been doing the job for that long now. I think she takes it a bit for granted.
Oh, I could never do that. If I were married to a policeman, I should just feel so much safer. Your wife is a very lucky lady. I hope she knows that.
I don't believe this. Not only they nicked our picture, they've left it where Blaketon said we couldn't. You stop here, I'll sort this out.
There's nothing like the front and Scarborough, all these fish and chip vans.
What's going on?
I've been threatened and now I've been gazumped, and it's about time you finally did something about it.
Let's see what he has to say for himself.
Before you start, I'm within me rights. I'm not blocking highway, and I'm registered with council.
I see. Where's your certificate, Claude?
He hasn't got one.
It's in the post. But what he's doing ain't right, and you well know it.
Well, if he's registered and you're not, my hands are tied. Sorry, Claude.
Not as sorry as I am.
Fancy a bag of chips, Constable?
No, I do not.
It's what I miss most in the evenings, you know. A man to have a glass of sherry and a chat with.
Oh, I can't believe you'd be that short of offers, Mrs. Poole, if you thought of remarrying.
Oh, I could never remarry. It'd be disloyal to Eric's memory.
Oh, I don't know. Surely he'd want you to be happy again.
Maybe you're right. Oh, you have such a sensible way of looking at things, PC Ventress. That's the other thing I miss. A down-to-earth, masculine point of view.
Goodness me. Look at the time. I really must be going.
I'm sorry. I'm keeping you from your duties with my idle chatter.
Oh, no, no. Don't apologise. I haven't enjoyed a lady's company so much since... well...
I hope you'll come again.
Any problems, just give us a call.
Right, David, get the bonnet up. He might have a certificate, but he won't get far without one of these.
What's up?
Ah, Ventress. Where were you all yesterday afternoon?
Conducting inquiries, Sarge. The Aidensfield break-ins.
Oh, the unfortunate Mrs. Poole, yes. And these inquiries were so fruitful, were they, as to put you out of radio contact for 3 hours?
Well, I parked the patrol car, Sarge. Went on foot.
Where?
Round Aidensfield. Round and about.
Ashfordly police.
Any luck?
No, Sarge. Not really, no.
Yes, he's here. Hold on. Alf, it's for you. It's Mrs. Poole.
I'll take that, thank you, Bellamy. Mrs. Poole, it's Sergeant Craddock here. How may we help you? A strange man in your garden, I see. I'll dispatch one of my officers immediately. You just stay safely in the house. Goodbye. Right. Bellamy, you go and see who's lurking at the bottom of Mrs. Poole's garden.
Yes, Sarge.
And Ventress, you can get on with the paperwork.
Want me to give her a message, Alf?
No.
Oh. Come on, David.
Morning, Claude. What can I do for you?
I don't suppose I'll get it, but I want a bit of action from you lot.
Come again.
I were out last night doing a bit of business, and when I got back, somebody nicked the wheels off my fish and chip van. Not only that, they'd nailed something very nasty on my front door. Show him, David. It's a dead haddock. And from the smell of it, it's been dead a long time and all. And this, well, weird.
You took your time.
You seem to have had a flood. Burst pipe, was it?
No. Someone broke in through the back last night, turned on the tap.
Coincidentally, somebody stole the wheels off Mr. Greengrass's van last night.
That'll do with me.
Don't you think this is getting a bit ridiculous? No one can win.
You tell that to them Mazzettis. I didn't start it.
Alf's on the radio, Sarge. Wants a word.
Go ahead, Ventress.
Whitby Police.
Have just been on. Last night there was a bad fire at Mazzetti's fish restaurant. Maria Mazzetti's in hospital. And the Whitby lads, they reckon it was arson.
Now, you listen to me, Big Eddie. I will not have a war on my patch. I don't care what happened in the past. I don't care what old man Mazzetti did. I don't care what reasons you've got for justifying your actions. This stops now.
Look, I don't know who set fire to the Mazzetti place, but I swear to you, it weren't me.
Well, I hope you're telling the truth. Because if you're not, you're going to jail for a very long time.
Why? Why would anyone do this?
How is your mother?
They're keeping her in for observation. If she hadn't come back when she did, the whole place would have burnt down to the ground.
Big Eddie's shop was flooded last night.
I don't even want to think about that, man. My mother tried to put out the fire single-handed. She could have died.
Yes, we do know that, Mr. Mazzetti. Rest assured, whoever did this, they will be caught.
Maria, how did it happen? It could have been worse. The whole place could be gone. But I went back to get my pills. The doctor had given me pills to help me sleep, so I went back to get them.
Mummy, you should never try to put the fire out on your own.
Oh, we have fire extinguisher. What's it for, eh? So I breathe in a little smoke. I've been standing over a fryer for 20 years.
Well, I think you're very brave.
I've got to go.
Now listen to me, boy. Listen good. Non far niente. Capisci?
Sì. Sì, va bene, ho capito. Bye.
Please, Jackie. You speak to your husband. I don't want my boys in trouble. Franco, he always worry he gonna lose everything, so he fight everyone.
Well, I always thought Paolo was too sensible to start taking revenge for old grudges.
He is. I don't understand none of this. Why don't Big Eddie leave us alone?
I would like the truth, please, Mr. Greengrass. This is becoming a serious matter.
You're telling me? I'm the victim. I mean, not only have I had a dead fish and a death wish nailed to me door, somebody's nicked the wheels off me chip van.
You sure you weren't in Ashfordly last night, Claude? You didn't pay Big Eddie a visit by any chance, did you? Because your truck was seen.
Well, I was just driving round.
Late at night?
All right. Look, your lot wouldn't do it, would they? So I went and nicked the rotor arm after Eddie's van. Here. Now you know.
Is that all? Are you sure you didn't break in and turn on a tap?
No, I didn't. You go and ask David, because he was winning. Go on, interrogate him. I mean, there's no way he's not going to tell you the truth. Well, not twice running, anyway.
Alf, Oscar's been on the phone. Needs to talk to you urgently.
What about?
Dunno, didn't say. Wants you to go over, though.
Ciao.
So what's this really about then, Bradley? Settling of old scores? A row over fish and chips?
Well, I don't think Greengrass has got much to do with it myself. I just think he got caught in the crossfire.
It just doesn't make any sense. This Paolo Mazzetti's a smart young businessman. Big Eddie's no threat to him. Come in.
That was Whitby Police Sarge. CID had taken over the investigation. Kitchen was doused in petrol. Definitely was arson.
All right, thank you, Bonamy. Your wife, Bradley. Didn't you say she was the Mazzetti's lawyer?
Well, yes, but she doesn't like to get...
I always hate it when we have to hand over to CID, don't you?
Yes, but...
If this is about old grudges, then we need to know more about the Mazzettis. Perhaps you could use your influence with your lady wife. See what you can charm out of her.
There you go. You just sip it slowly. It'll help your nerves.
Well, she was coming out of the village shop as it was getting dark, and somebody snatched her handbag.
They never give up, do they? Are you hurt, Mrs. Poole?
No. It was just the shock, really.
Can you describe your assailant?
Not really.
Was he young? Short? Tall?
I'm not sure. It happened so fast. But I feel much better now you're here. I asked Mr. Blaketon to send for you. The young officer who came yesterday, he was kind enough, but he didn't really understand. Not like you do.
I think we best get you home. I've got the patrol car outside. If you'd just like to lean on me.
Thank you.
Poor woman. She's certainly been through it.
Yes, she certainly has.
Here you go.
You're trying to pump me for information.
All I'm asking for is a little advice.
No, you're not. Raymond Craddock thinks I might know something, so he sends you trotting home like a good little boy to try and wheedle it out of me. I'm going to finish the supper.
The Mazzettis are your clients. Don't you want to help them?
Look, Franco's dead, and as far as I'm concerned, Paolo is not a chip off the old block.
OK, what about the younger one?
What, Marco?
Yeah, he seems like a bit of a hothead. What if he decided, off his own bat, to take on Big Eddie himself? Question is, why? What?
Brandy, now sherry. I could end up quite tiddly.
Well, you've had a very nasty shock. This is purely medicinal.
You know, PC Ventress.
Why don't you call me Alf? Everyone else does.
That's a coincidence. My grandfather was an Alfred. I've always thought it was a very solid, comfortable name. My first name's Emily.
Oh, that's very nice.
My mother admired the Brontes. Oh.
Right. I'll have the villain.
Oh, do be careful, Alf. There could be several of them. Shouldn't you wait and call for reinforcements?
You just sit there, Emily, and don't fret. Stop where you are, I'm a police officer. Now, come on out. Sarge.
Evening, Alf.
Looks like he's on the move.
Just stick with him, Bradley. See what he gets up to.
I found all this in the garden shed.
I don't understand.
And here's your handbag, Mrs. Poole. I don't think anything's missing. It was tossed in a hedge outside the pub.
Emily, what's going on?
I didn't mean any harm. I just wanted someone to come.
Is that why you faked all those burglaries, Mrs. Poole?
I sit here day in, day out. Nothing much to do, no one to talk to. Eric used to organise everything. I never had to worry. I just wanted someone to take care of me again. You were such a godsend, Alf. So kind and considerate. If only you weren't already married.
I could charge you with wasting police time. You know that, Mrs. Poole.
Oh, I don't think there's any need to go that far off.
I'm so sorry.
You've made a right fool of me.
No. No, I never meant to do that.
Perhaps I deserve it.
Come on, Alf. Let's go and have a drink. Good night, Mrs. Poole.
He's on his way to Ashfordly. He's in a bit of a hurry.
Let's see if Bradley's theory is correct. Right, let's have him.
So, let's start again. Big Eddie insulted your father's memory, and you were determined to take revenge. Tit for tat.
Yeah, I told you.
Did Paolo tell you to do it?
Paolo. He's a businessman. Money's all he cares about, not family honour.
But he's your older brother, he runs the business. Surely you were acting under his instruction.
Well, he may own the business, but he don't own me.
Wait a minute. Paolo owns the business now?
Yeah.
But don't you have any share in it?
No.
So your father left the family business entirely to your brother? That doesn't seem very fair.
That's what the old man wanted.
What about your mother? What does she think?
Don't drag her into this.
Why not? I mean, when the will was read out, surely she backed you up.
Well, she backed the old man. She backed Paolo. She always has.
Is that why you set fire to the restaurant? Because you were jealous of Paolo?
That were Big Eddie, not me.
You faked this whole vendetta with Big Eddie, didn't you? Just so that you could see your brother and his business fail.
No.
It was your own mother, Marco. She could have burnt to death. You could have killed your own mother.
I know that. I know. I thought she'd go back. Just to get her stupid pills.
Ma questa cosa prende tempo.
Caro mio, what I tell you. No stupid revenge. Leave it to the police.
Don't worry. We'll fight this together as a family. Is he going to be charged?
Yes, with arson.
But he only tried to set fire to Big Eddie's.
Whitby Police will charge him with arson in connection with the fire at your restaurant.
No!
Mum,
no!
I never meant you to get hurt. Papa gave it all to him. Always him, never me. Why did I have to be the younger brother? Not a joke, I'm not...
No.
It wasn't fair, so I fought back. That's what Papa would have done.
All right, come on, Mum.
Mum, up and forward.
Constable Bradley in person. Can you tell me why you've not nicked that Big Eddie yet? Been fixing your lot up with free fish suppers, has he?
Turns out he was telling the truth. He didn't do anything. There was no feud. It was Marco Mazzetti who set out to make it look like there was one.
Why?
Jealousy. Wanted to spoil it for his brother.
Yeah, well, Franco Mazzetti might have been a bit of a gangster, but he's got nothing on Eddie.
Look, Claude, if Big Eddie tries to start threatening anybody, we'll have him, trust me.
Oh, you do fill me with confidence. If I've got to rely on your lot for protection, I think I'll back in the fish and chip business and go back into the business I know best.
Which is?
Minding my own.